Hi guys, I've been doing some testing and oh boy have I been doing some testing. I've been testing out the bloom recipe because I've had a lot of success with the bloom recipe and I know a lot of people are really struggling with it, and they're struggling also because they just can't get the bits and pieces that you need. So these are some tests, fails, because they're not working, they're cracking, doing all sorts of things. So I've been testing out loads and loads of different products, and these are just some of the failures, the most recent failures. But I have come up with something that works really well, and it's cheap, everybody can get hold of it, and it's easy to use. So no having to find all the V700 untinted base paints and the varnishes and all that stuff, because this just works. So I've got all the stuff. I've got my Floetrol oil there. I've got all the Valspars and everything that you need under my desk, in the drawers, all sorts of stuff to do these blooms. But today I want to show you how I've created these without any of the untinted base for the mixing the paints, without any of the varnishes that are really expensive and sometimes we can't get hold of. So I just want to show you my desk at the moment. I'm in a mess. I'm in such a mess. But I have been really busy doing lots and lots of testing for you. So hopefully you'll be able to do the blooms, and I'm going to show you how I've created these. So let's get started. What I'm working on today is these little MDF plaques, which are just like that, the 6mm MDF plaque, and I've taped the back to keep it all clean with masking tape, and I put my little duct tape tab on it so I can hold on to it when I'm tipping it. And I've painted it because, as I said, I've been doing lots and lots of testing, lots and lots of scraping of the ones that haven't worked. So I scraped them off, and when I scraped it off onto my paper, I've just brushed it back on to my plaques to save wasting it, just to give it the base coat. You don't need to do that, you just work on whatever you're doing. It's just because I didn't want to waste the paint, that's the only reason I've done that. So when I'm doing the blooms, it's such a messy technique. What I do is I have layers and layers of this greaseproof paper on my desk. So as I get the top one dirty, I can fold it all up and get rid of it. And then you've got the next clean one underneath. So that's another tip for you. Now, onto this recipe. It's so simple. Really got to keep this simple because so many people are struggling with it. I'm not going to use the emulsion because people are saying they're struggling with it. It's giving too many bubbles, it's cracking, they can't get the right paint. So I'm just using black acrylic paint. Now you can use any black acrylic paint. This one just happens to be Mont, purely because this is my new paint that I've been using, and I do love it. It's a really good paint, and it comes in big quantity, 2 litre. And I've got all the colours that I got all the colours that they had on Amazon, which was 13 colours, because I've got a new one, my green, and I've got silver and gold. So I was really pleased to see that. Amazon got those. I haven't tried these colours yet. I've mixed some. There's the gold. I've mixed some, but haven't tried them out yet. The reason I've got cellophane around the top is because it tends to dry out around the nozzle. So I read on the reviews. So that's why I've got cellophane around the pumps. So this is just black Mont paint, and I've got it quite thick. So I hope you can see that. I know it's quite difficult to see on the camera, but it's quite thick and it does leave a little heap. Now I mixed that with my pouring medium, which I have put in here. This is just a milk container. So it's 70% PVA bond and 30% water. And this is the PVA bond that I've been using, and it just works so well. So I've got a link, I'll put a link under the video for this, which I got off Amazon. I'm in the UK, so that's off UK Amazon. I think the USA may be a bit different, I'm not sure. So I've just mixed that. I didn't measure it, I just kept adding a little bit more pouring medium until I got the thickness that I wanted. Because the pillow has to be thick because you're blowing down into it. So it has to be a bit thicker than the colours you're putting on top. So all we're going to do is pour that onto our surface, whatever your surface might be. Now when you're using the emulsion house paint, you can't torch it because it does burn and form a skin on the top. So you can't torch it really to get the bubbles out, but you can this, which is another plus in its favour. So there's my base. Now my colours. Can you see the thickness that I've got that? It's just a little bit thinner than the base. Oops, sorry, I was off camera there. So a little bit thinner than the base paint, than the pillow. Leaves a little heap. So these are all Mont paints. So that's the magenta. It's that one. And I've got the purple and the lemon yellow. They're the colours I'm using today because they're the ones I've been doing on those practice ones that I showed you earlier. So there's the lemon yellow. It's got a few bubbles because I've only just had to mix some more up so I could show you on the video. So I had to just mix some more up quickly. So it has got quite a lot of bubbles in there, but it'll be all right. So there's the yellow and there's the purple. Now, what have I mixed them with? So what we usually mix them with is the base C V700 Valspar, that's I'm in the UK, which is the untinted paint, and something like this polyacrylic varnish. Now in the UK this is really expensive. This is just a little 8 fluid ounces, and that was about £22, and it's a tiny little tin. So it's really expensive. But good old Mod Podge gloss luster, because I got to thinking that it's the same sort of thing really, because I've used this as a pouring medium. I have got videos to show you how I've used this as pouring medium, and it works so well. And you can also use this for the varnish. So it's kind of everything rolled into one. So I didn't see any reason why it wouldn't work. And, well, it seems to be working. So we don't have to get all those expensive ingredients. This is a 32 fluid ounce one. I have actually just ordered off Amazon a gallon, which worked out a lot cheaper. So that'll be coming within the next few days, I should imagine, or somewhere around there. So I'm really quite excited by this. So I need to show you really how I mix. I'll tell you what, I'll get on and do this, and then I will show you after I've done this how I've mixed my colours. So quick torch, because I can see some bubbles. I'll just put a little bit more on top of this to give it that little bit of a pillow, because I've just stood here talking, aren't I, and it's had times to flatten now. So just put a little bit more on there. And then I'm just on my cell activator. Forgot to tell you about my cell activator. Is Black Amsterdam, which is this one, black oxide. This is the expert acrylic. Now you don't have to get the expert. This is extra fine, and it is a lot finer than the standard. So I usually use the standard series for this, but the expert is a lot finer, but you can use either one. And I mix that with my Australian Floetrol, the Flood Floetrol. And it's about 3 parts Floetrol to 1 part paint until you get a consistency like that. It needs to be a little bit thinner than the coloured paints. So let's get on to layering. So because this is an oval plaque, I'm just going to go a bit long ways on it like that. Got it tilted a bit so that black paint is just running. I'll just bring it back round there. So, and obviously with using the normal acrylic paint, you can use, the base can be any colour you want. You don't have to just stick with the standard white with it using the white emulsion. So it works really well for that reason as well. There's our magenta and our lemon yellow. Now, I'll give it a quick torch to get rid of as many bubbles as we can. Bring that back round. Now, because this isn't as thick as the emulsion, I'm not going to blow, or I'm going to try not to blow as deep into the paint. So I'm going to put my cell activator on the top of that. And then I'm going to use my little blower, but I'm going to just take the nozzle off. So sorry about the noise here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to try not to blow straight down. I'm going to try and blow more across than down. So I'm blowing into the cell activator and across. So find where the wind is blowing from, the whatever it is you're using for your blower, and then tilt it so it goes out. There. Have got it a bit lopsided, but I'll just tip it that way a teeny bit. So then you've got to wait for it to come back up. But remember, as I said, this paint isn't as thick as the emulsion. Well, you can make it as thick if you want to. I chose not to because I find it gives less problems. Because if you've got all your paints as much as possible the same consistency, then you'll have less cracking. Now the black here, the base one that I've got as my black, is the thickest, but only a little bit thicker than the colours. And then the cell activator is a wee bit thinner than the colours again. So I don't know if you can see how that is just dipped in the middle there. So we'll just try and wait for that to come up before we start tilting. It is a bit of a patience game. I know it's frustrating, you have to sit and wait for it, but if you can give it a little rock side to side, sometimes it will help just loosen that. Looks like a butterfly wing, doesn't it, there? That's really pretty. I'll just give that a quick torch while we're waiting for that to come up. I won't burn my hand, I know I'm holding it as well, but being very careful. It's still a bit stuck in the middle. Can you see the little dip right in the middle there? So we do really have to wait for that. Otherwise, if you start tipping it before that comes unstuck, all this paint, if you're tipping it this way, all this paint is going to go over the centre and come over the top of this paint, which we will really want to try and avoid. So we'll just tilt it backwards and forwards a little bit, give it a little wiggle, and hopefully it'll start to loosen up. I mean, this lacing is all looking really lovely. I didn't do such a good job on this bit here, but we can tip this part off, so I'm not too worried. It's also a little bit lower on this part here as well. Don't know if you can see that if I tilt it to the light, but that's not so bad because that's on the edge. So we'll just see, can you see as I'm tipping that there, that is folding over that centre where it's stuck. So it's still not quite ready, still a bit stuck in the middle. So you do have to wait for that centre to come back up. Just keep moving it backwards and forwards. Tip it that way a little bit first. Just take it off that edge and hopefully that will help it move. This is why it's my little tab that I've got underneath is really helpful when you're doing this part, so you can hold on to it and tip it. So I think we might be all right. Tip it down off that end. I don't like this part here. I want that part to go. So we'll try and get rid of that bit. We want to keep, obviously we want to keep as much of the pretty lacing as we can. And then we'll try tip it back that way. See this part here, I didn't get the blow very well here. So it's a bit, it still looks pretty, but it hasn't got that lovely lacing on it. So we'll tip it that way. And then we'll bring it back a bit. And how pretty is that? I just think that looks gorgeous. So that's with the Mod Podge, and I think it just looks magical. Hope you can see. There we go. See, look at all these beautiful cells. That's cells that's come up. And we've also got all the lovely lacing as well. Beautiful cells here. I think it just looks so pretty. So that's that one. You just want to clean off around the bottom. So just run your finger around the bottom like that. Otherwise, you may end up with it all pulling off. It might drag the paint down. So there's that one, and I think it looks beautiful. So you see, this here is what I then get my paintbrush and paint on as the base coat and let it dry. So I don't waste it all, because otherwise I would be wasting an awful lot of paint, which I don't want to do. Obviously. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I mixed those, because it's really, really simple. It was just Mod Podge and water. I'll just take I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm just going to clear this lot away, and then I'll come back and show you. So all I'm going to do is I've got my green Mont paint, and I'm just going to put some in this little shot glass, this little cup. I haven't measured it, I just put it in. Now you can use any paint that you want. It doesn't have to be Marte. I'm just using Marte at the moment because it's my new favourite paint. You can use Arteza, Pebeo, any sort of paint that you've got. Use what you've got. You don't have to go out and buy new paints. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. Now I will say these pumps, some of these pumps on these Marte containers are not brilliant. Some of them are okay, and some of them just aren't. So this one aren't. This one isn't. It's a bit hit and miss. Do let it come right up, but there. So that's how much paint. Just trying to shake it down so you can see how much paint I've got in there. So that comes up to just above that first line there, in the bottom of that cup. So about to there. Now this is the Mod Podge Gloss Luster. So all I do is I get my little stick and I just scoop it out and drizzle it in. And I haven't measured it, so that's 1, 2, 3, about 3.5 that was. So move that to one side so I don't knock it over, put the lid on and give it a good stir. Now it does mix in really, really easily, especially with this Marte paint. This Marte paint is really quite smooth. So I'm quite enjoying working with this at the moment. So that mixes really, really easily. And you can see that's quite thick. So then I add some water. Scrape it all from around the side so it's all properly mixed in. And then all I do, just happen to have bottled water here, but you don't have to use that. You can use whatever you want. And I just put some water in there. And mix that round. It may seem like it's not mixing to start with, and it just seems very watery, but it does start to mix in, and then it will start thickening up again. that's starting to thicken up. And it's always best when you mix your paints to let them stand a little while. Get all those bubbles out. And that's all you do. And that's about the same consistency as the others were. And it's as simple as that, guys. You paint whatever paint you have. Mod Podge, gloss luster. I'll leave the links to all these below where I've got them from. So your Mod Podge, your paint and the water to get it to the right consistency. And that works perfectly for these blooms. Now, I did mix the black. I did mix that thicker, as I said, and I did mix that with my pouring medium, but there is no reason you can't mix your base, whatever colour your base is. Mine just happened to be black, and I used the PVA bond with water. There's no reason you can't use this for the base colour as well for your pillow paint. Absolutely no reason. It will work just the same. So that's that, and I'll show you again that one that I've just done. There's that one, and it just looks beautiful. So no need to go out and buy all these different products that most of them we can't find or we struggle with. I just think that looks beautiful. I think it looks absolutely beautiful. So I hope that's been helpful for you. I shall be doing some more testing of products, and if you subscribe to my channel and click the little bell notification, you'll get notified when I bring out more videos, and hopefully there'll be something else that can help you with. Please click the like button. Can't talk. Please click the like button. So it all helps us little YouTubers, and let me know in the comments below what you think to this, or if you found something else that works better. So I hopefully see you in the next video. Bye for now.